There, it's Carrie from Stamp with CT, and along with me in the craft room today, I have Dale
Hello.
and Oliver.
He's wagging his tail.
He's wagging his tail. Yeah, he is. So we are super excited to be here with you because we have a sneak peek for you from the upcoming January to April mini catalog for 2023, y'all. And Stampin' Up! Has got a beautiful new offering for us. And one of the suites in it is called Fancy Flora Suite Collection. Now, I have this in my hands, and I have since, oh gosh, what about the very end of September, first part of October, because I had the great joy of presenting this suite at Onstage in Arlington, Texas. So it was so much fun to be on the stage and be able to share these beautiful new products with other demonstrators. If you're not familiar with Onstage, that is like our convention. And we get to see stamping presentations. We get to see the new catalog. We get to hear kind of a report about how our company is doing. And I love that Stampin' Up! Is a debt-free company and growing. Recently moved into Belgium and Ireland. And we're just a global company that is strong and helps others find their creativity. And I love partnering with them to do that. So let's go ahead and jump into this suite of products. I had about 20 minutes. I think I took a couple extra minutes doing my presentation, and it was just so much fun. I had such a great experience. After being asked to be a presenter, I worked with one of our demonstrator development managers, and she kind of gave me some notes on my presentation, and we did rehearsals, and her feedback was just so awesome, so that I felt so comfortable by the time we were on stage that I was able to really just have fun. So let's look at these products right quick. We will start kind of a little bit backwards of how I did my presentation. We're going to first start with the ribbon. So this is a 3/8 inch grosgrain. Does that show up okay, Dee?
No, looking good.
Okay, 3/8 inch grosgrain, and it is Pool Party. It's got some substance to it, but it's easy to tie, so very easy to work with. And one of the great things about this ribbon is that you can color it. So here it is in Pool Party, then Balmy Blue, and Night of Navy. So color that, just put it on the silicone craft sheet and use the Stampin' Blend markers or alcohol markers to color that ribbon. And you could really pretty much do any color of blue, couldn't you?
Sure.
Yeah, it's really pretty. And then y'all know that my favorite color is shiny, and these gorgeous gems, oh my goodness, they are called the iridescent pastel gems. And for some reason, I've had such a hard time remembering that, and now I can. Shiny, shiny, lots of colors, so you can use these on projects with this suite, but so many more projects that you're creating. Okay, we have a couple of different stamp sets. First up is a photopolymer set, and this is a two-step stamp set with the floral images and then a couple of the little leaves. And so you've got the base of the stamp and then also the detail portion of the stamp. Now there are 15 stamps in this set, but kind of cracked everybody up at Onstage when I told them that mine has 14 stamps, and that would be because Oliver, just in case you have not seen a picture of Oliver or you're not local to me and haven't met him, he ate one of my stamps, y'all. We barely started designing projects for this presentation and he had already eaten one. So what do? You just keep on going. That's what you do. But he's a good boy. He loves stamps and ink and paper just as much as I do. But back to this stamp set, it has coordinating dies. And it's so interesting. When you present, you get the products before they're fully packaged like they're going to be in the catalog. So these dies did not come in the usual container. So they'll put them on magnet sheets for me. So you can see that you've got different size floral dies to line up with the different stamps. And then there's this amazing, now I've adhered this into this case, but there's this amazing background die. It covers the full card front, and it is just awesome. And a little tip for you, when I ran this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I ran it through forward and back, and then I turned it and ran it through forward and back again, and it cut beautifully. And I'll tell you, to add a wow to your project, this is amazing. So this is a pretty good size suite because we have another stamp die bundle to show you. Now this one is called Something Fancy. It is red rubber. So you'll notice that the photopolymer is for the images, and you've got the 2-step where you can see exactly where you're stamping the more detailed stamp over the bottom layer of the flower. And then red rubber gives you that nice crisp image. And so those fine lines of the sentiments really look good when they're stamped in red rubber. So you get the best of both worlds with this suite. Lots of really great sentiments in this, and it's got a mixed font. And then this set too has coordinating dies. So these are layering label dies, and you just have so many options with these. This one is really shaped like a tag. You could make any of them into a tag, but this one's especially shaped like a tag. You've got these 3 smaller detail kind of accent dies, and I'll show you in a minute how we use those. And then this kind of little swoosh, and then a kind of an irregular hexagon. It's not a perfect hexagon, but it's a cute little accent as well. And if you'll keep that close, Dale, I will show them on that second project, okay? I've got an assistant today, y'all. So here is how the 2-tone dies cut out. Just wanted you to be able to have that visual so you can really see how these dies work along with the stamps. And then here is the Something Fancy die. So you can see that we lined up those little detail pieces, those accent pieces in the tag. So using the one that almost looks like a teardrop, you could very easily make any of these labels into a tag. There's that little swoosh. So this is a great die set because you can use this with any stamps, images or sentiments that you already have in your collection. But of course, it works beautifully with these stamps. Now this Fancy Flora, and I may go ahead, I may show you this next because I bet that shine is affecting the camera. So look at this fine shimmer paper, y'all. This is a 12 by 12 paper, and it's more like cardstock. It's actually even a little bit thicker than cardstock. You have it in fresh freesia, fresh freesia, soft succulent, and gold, and it's got a really pretty shine. Does that pick up on camera?
It's
kind of blurring. Yeah, it's just so shiny and it's pretty, but it's 12 by 12. You get 2 of each of the colors. Perfect accent for your projects. And now we'll look at the designer series paper because I want to be able to kind of lay these out so you can see them. I don't know if a lot of people know that we have artists that are actually employed at our home office at Stampin' Up! In Riverton, Utah. And so there is an artist named Vanessa, and on an original canvas, she actually used brush strokes and drips and washes, and she created on that canvas what became this designer series paper. So it has that hand-painted look to it, and you can see it is absolutely gorgeous. Lots and lots of color combos. So you've got lots of options. Let me flip this over so you can see the B side. But lots of options for your card bases and your layers. And this, to me, is the type of paper that you can just cut it and add it to your card front. Put a sentiment and maybe a ribbon or embellishment, and you're done. So it just really makes you look like a crafting rock star, because you are, but it makes creating so simple and easy. And oh my goodness, this paper is gorgeous. So here you see more of the washes. So pretty. You like this paper, D?
Oh, absolutely.
This was a real big hit. Several people told me that once they saw the paper, they absolutely fell in love. So what we did, and on stage, they asked me to present in a certain way, a certain format, so that we've got 11 or 12 events going on globally. So they want it not to necessarily be the same projects, because we each got to design in our own fashion, because there were 12 different people that presented this same suite at the different locations around the globe. But they wanted us to talk a little bit about something for a beginner crafter, a casual crafter, and an avid crafter. So to me, a beginner is someone who is at the beginning of their stamping journey. So they've not really stamped much or at all before. So here is an example of a card that I created for a beginner stamper. And I wanted to keep it nice and simple. So keeping it simple and making them successful. So we have that image of the flower stamped there, and we use Daffodil Delight with some, oh gosh, what color is that, D? No, the Calypso Coral is the more detailed, right? Is it Crushed Curry or Daffodil Delight? I can't remember. Daffodil Delight with Calypso Coral detail. So really, really pretty. I'll bring that a little closer. And then you will notice that the leaves are just moved away from the floral image just a little bit. And that was by design, because I don't want my beginner crafter to worry about having to tuck those leaves in and get it just so. Beginners a lot of times want their project to look just like mine. So I want to make it easy and fun for them. And then we just stamped that greeting, that thank you. You can see that pretty font. And of course, had to add a little bit of bling. Now, to make it easy, we did justify this down to the bottom right, and that way they don't have to worry about getting that, completely equal border all the way around. And then we did stamp the envelope as well. Stampin' Up! Envelopes are a fabulous quality and take the ink almost as well as our cardstock. So I just love using Stampin' Up! Products and encouraging my customers to do that as well, so that they have a good, successful stamping experience. So that is our beginner crafter project. And then for this next one, this one is for our casual crafter. Let me make sure I don't have it upside down. So here, this is a fairly simple card, but we're introducing a few more products. This time we're bringing in the designer series paper. And although we could have just cut that paper and put strips on the card front, I wanted to do something a little bit different and use a die. So using one of the Something Fancy dies, I think it's, this end, right?
The smallest one.
This, I thought it was the largest one. All right.
That's right.
That's right. Oh, let me look for one more, because here it is. There it is. So we're using these dies in a little bit different way. So one of the things I like to do for a casual crafter, so someone who is purchasing a little bit more product and really getting into our hobby, and also crafting a little bit more often, I want to really show them how to use their products. So here we use the die to cut that designer series paper. It just gives that a little bit more interest. And I just think it stands out so much better. Is that sentiment crooked now? No, it looked like it to me a little bit. And then I went ahead and I stamped on designer series paper. So using up our scraps, that's another thing I like to teach my crafters, is to use up those scraps. We don't want them laying around. And if we use our pretty paper, we get to buy more, right? So on either end of this little 3/4 by 3-inch strip, I ran that through my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. They all fit in both machines except that big detail die that fits on the card front. It cut the little teardrop shape out, and I was able to run that pool party ribbon through. Now we can always put a bow or a knot on our projects, but this just gives another way to feature that ribbon, add some more texture, and just make it fun. So that's what we did. Added a strip of designer series paper here on the envelope, because our group has a motto of no naked envelopes, right? And I even heard Shelly Gardner, our co-founder of Stampin' Up, I heard her say no naked envelopes too when she did a presentation. So this helps use up those little scraps, but it also lets the recipient know this is a handmade card. When they pull that out of the mailbox, they're going to know they've gotten something special. So next up, we have a project for our avid crafter. Now, who's an avid crafter? That's someone that crafts almost every day, if not every day. And so a lot of us are avid crafters, and we have a lot of tools and a lot of product, and we want to be using those. So I actually pulled in my Stamparatus, and what I did was set up those floral images on the Stamparatus so that I was stamping them all at once, and stamped the base, turned the plate over and stamped the detail on all of them at one time. Then, because there's dies for each size floral image, we were able to run that through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and had lots of flowers to choose from. So that's a great way to really utilize your time, and it makes it so efficient, especially when you're making those multiples, and a lot of us avid crafters do that. And that's just a great use of our Stampin' Up Stamparatus too. It's an awesome stamp positioning tool. I also made a template because I'll bring this closer as well. This greeting, it's one of my favorite sentiments in this set. It is heat embossed, which heat embossing just really brings the wow factor. So here you see it, heat embossed, and I'm hoping that the camera will pick up on this, because if one coat of embossing powder is good, then 3 or 4 coats is even better, right? So this one has, I think, about 4 coats of clear embossing powder. So how did I do that? So you're going to first stamp your sentiment using your Stamparatus with Night of Navy ink, and then using your Stamparatus, clean your stamp off, stamp with Versamark ink. Add your clear embossing powder and heat set the sentiment. While it's still warm, add another layer of clear embossing powder and heat set it again, and then just continue to repeat that 3 or 4 times. And what happens is you get this beautiful raised effect of those letters, and it really jumps off your project. So here is our Avid Crafter card, and then there is an embossing folder called Painted Texture, and it may not show up super well, but I did emboss the flap of the envelope. So just really makes a nice presentation, because no naked envelopes, right? So that is our card for our Avid Crafter. Now I have some other projects. I was able to share some other projects that I created, and this was lots of fun being able to utilize this. I purposely did not look at the few samples that Stampin' Up sent me that were going to be in the catalog, because I really wanted my creativity to shine. So these are called the Delicate Detailed Treat Boxes, and they are in the annual catalog. And I just thought these little boxes, I think I still have my cheat note. I took my cheat note off. These little boxes are just so cute. You could put a small gift inside, but you could also put treats. I actually saved my tissue from my paper pumpkin because it coordinates really well, and that fit right down in that little bag or box. And I decorated that, and also one of our note cards. So it just makes a really nice set. And that would definitely let someone know that they are extra special at their birthday. And then I have another sample. Now this one, I went ahead and cut the label out. And then from that label, I used one of those accent dies. Then I cut that very same accent die using Evening Evergreen and then Flirty Flamingo cardstock. I popped those little pieces in, and that's called an inlaid technique. And I just thought it looked so pretty, because now, you know, that's just even there, and it's inlaid into that tag. Really cool effect, and just really happy with how this very simple card turned out. We have this one, and I was actually inspired by a demonstration that one of my team members did using masking paper. So masking paper has a sticky back, and I actually cut the die from the masking paper and then attached the masking paper with the die cut from it onto a piece of basic white cardstock. I use, gosh, what color ink is that? My mind is just not.
Orchid Oasis.
Orchid Oasis. I used Orchid Oasis on a blending brush and just added a very small amount of color where that label was cut. And then I peeled off the masking paper, which is reusable, by the way, and I stamped the greeting in full strength Orchid Oasis. I pulled out some of those flowers from my little magic bag. I keep a clear envelope with the flowers that are already cut. And this was a quick and easy card to do that really gives a nice effect. This one is a sympathy card. And again, I told you there's lots of different sentiments in this set, and I'm always looking for ways to make a pretty sympathy card. They're difficult for me, and they are for a lot of people. So here I've used that detailed die that we put on the card base that covers the full front. But what I did was just use my trimmer and I cut it off. So where that raw edge was, I used just a strip of the fine shimmer paper to cover that up and add just a little bit of sparkle. And so this just made a really nice, quick and easy sympathy card. We're almost done, you guys. Now, this is a real wow. We have made this card in a class before, and I learned this card from another demonstrator, but it was really complicated directions. So Dale, being his engineering self, he helped me come up with new measurements to make this super, super easy. So if you need the measurements, let me know. I'll be glad to share them with you. So this is always a wow because it folds out and it really gives us an opportunity to show off those products and lots of room to write. So if you needed a card that lots of people were signing it, like at work, or lots of family members, then this is a really good layout to use. So you can see it does stand up, so it's awesome to display, and you could decorate the back as well if you wanted to. So this is called a 4-step fold, and it's just a real wow card. Here we just use one of those flowers that had been heat embossed. Same thing with the sentiment, heat emboss those as well. And I have one more project for you. Let me get it out of the page protector. Our daughter, Tara, got married almost 3 years ago. Have that positioned okay.
Yeah.
She got married in Houston in a park downtown. And so she wore a dress that I like to say was not a navy. Wasn't that nice of her to coordinate with Stampin' Up! Colors? So it was a non-traditional wedding. It was an absolutely perfect day. And these products just really gave me a chance to show off this beautiful picture of her and also the product. So we did use the designer series paper. Dale actually fussy cut that for me. And even though it's 6 by 6, I was able to kind of camouflage that seam by adding those tags with the sentiment. And then we've got some floral images. We've got that detailed die. And I, again, just cut it in half and use the accent pieces here on some designer series paper. Finish it off with some gems and some iridescent pearls. So happy with how this turned out. Well, that is the Fancy Flora Suite collection. And before I go, I will show you the new mini catalog. And again, it will be coming out in January, I believe January the 4th. So I can't show you the inside yet. That's only for demonstrators. And one of the perks of going to Onstage is we get the catalog early, which is so exciting. But if you just can't wait until January, reach out to me because you can join our team and you can be a demonstrator and you can pre-order starting the 1st of December. Get your hands on these awesome new products early. We will also have Celebration in January and February. And if you're not familiar with that, it's a free gift with purchase. So in $50 increments, you're able to pick a free gift for ordering. And that's something that Stampin' Up! Is just doing in January and February of 2023. So if you know about Celebration, you know it really is the best time to stock up as well. Okay, do you and Oliver have anything else
No.
you want to say? No? I think it's almost bedtime for Oliver. All right. Thanks, you guys. So glad that you joined us today. And I hope that you love the Fancy Flora Suite collection. If you do, be sure to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I hope you will. And hit that notification bell so you get notifications whenever I upload a new video. Talk to you soon.